score ranking chart. Okay, so it's this one. So you have the mean of target and then mean of y hat. And as you go down the depth, okay, this will be the mean of the y and the y hat up to that depth. Okay, it is not the mean within each 5%. So as you go down, okay, you need to find the average of the y and y hat from the top up to that depth. Okay, so because of that, then when we do the pivot table, okay, so let's put the pivot table right here, and we bring in the case number and group them. Okay. So let's make sure that we have, all right, so that would be 20 groups. Make sure that we have 20. I have 18. So let's I don't know why I have 8.9 here. It should be what, 75, 7.5. So that's giving me 7.6. All right, so we have 20 groups. Okay, so that is cases. Okay, now we need y. Okay, and y hat. Okay, so we need y and y hat. So this gives us the sum of each of them within each bin. Okay, so let's do a number format. Okay. Now, if we change this to average here, that will give us an average of each bin. So that's the reason why we can't use the average here. Okay, you can use the average as your value field setting, because that would give you average within each bin. And because we are approximately setting up 20 bins, the number of observations in each bin is not going to be exactly the same. Okay. If we are exactly the same, then you can average the averages and we will be okay. So we have to really get the number of cases. So bring that in. So that will be how many observations are there in each bin. Okay. So now we are ready to set up a cumulative y bar and cumulative y. So our cumulative average target, okay, and we will do cumulative average predicted. Okay. And we'll be plotting these two columns. So cumulative average is you sum C8 through C8, right? Okay. C8 should be absolute referenced, divided by sum of E8 to E8 with the first E8 absolute reference. So that will give us the average at each depth, up to each depth. And you do the same thing here, it will be, okay, I'm going to edit, copy and paste and make the change necessary. So instead of C in the numerator, it will be D, then that will give us the average of that. Okay. All right, so now we have the two columns that we need to plot. Increase the width, and then we have the depth. Depth going from 5%. In increments of 5%, going all the way up to 100%. So that will be our x-axis. So let's go ahead and plot that as okay. So cumulative average target. Now let's add our x-axis, which is the depth, okay. And then add the predicted, same depth as the x-axis, and the predicted average. So that would be our second line. And then you'll add the necessary titles and legend and so on. This is assessment score ranking. The x-axis is the depth, y-axis is average. So that's what you see here. So this is for train, this is for validate. Well, we actually are computing test. So you need to have a model comparison node to be able to if you run that, so that will generate the chart for the test. Okay, so here is that score distribution where x-axis is y bar. So this is your score ranking. If you scroll down, so you'll have the test. So this one plots only the target. It doesn't plot, I don't know why. It's not plotting the predicted, mean predicted. But to generate the charts for the test data set, you have to have model comparison node. Okay. So now that's what this is. Assessment score ranking. So here, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this goes up. Let's go 20 to 40. All right. So Okay, what is a good assessment score ranking plot? The one that matches y hat and y should match closely, and of course the score ranking with ranking at the top 5% to 10% being really high is good, because you are able to identify the high value observations very well with the methodology. So the high value y bars are at the top, and you can easily identify those observations. So really high, high chart starting really high in the early 5% and then declining to 100% here, coming together at the end. Okay, so that would make a good assessment ranking chart. Okay, and of course SAS gives you not only for mean, which is what we did, right? You can also select max. So in each percentile, what is the max? Okay, what is the maximum value as you go down from top to 100% depth? Okay, or minimum. So it gives you three different options. Same here. When you do the distribution chart, difference, remember, difference in distribution chart and ranking chart is, ranking is cases, how many cases, whereas distribution is for y hat divided into 20 equal classes. Again, you have a chart here.